Hi everybody. I hope you had a happy Thanksgiving weekend. So we're starting a little bit later this week, although it doesn't kind of look it, but um, because we've got everything going. But it's okay if people should have Thanksgiving off, and it's lovely weather today too, which is nice. So, an interesting discussion for week 5, the first part of situated learning. Katie and Sula, thank you for moderating the week. It was very good, and they've also done a very nice summary here, and talking about these kinds of some of the key concepts that came up this week. Um, I can feel a sneeze. I'm going to try and ignore the sneeze, but I have this in case. It's allergies. Okay. Yes, legitimate peripheral participation. That was an idea that took a while to kind of get going, but I think it did seem to resonate with most people. And I think as we start to bring technology into the mix, I think these kinds of concepts, like enculturation, legitimate peripheral participation, are important because, if you think about, I think there's the move in technology is, I think there's increasingly going to be immersive kinds of learning experiences that happen, not just like Second Life, but also gaming and all of those things. I think over time we're going to be doing more of that, and I think that can open up possibilities for having experiences, for students to have experiences they couldn't have in the face-to-face world, because we don't have the resources to take them off on, the kinds of experiences they can have in simulations and in these sort of virtual realities. And because they're kind of contextualized, those experiences, I think they're situated. And while it's not like real life, it's real enough that it conveys a lot of key elements of that environment. And I think potentially over time, technology may afford us the opportunity to develop really effective learning experiences for people that have more of elements of this legitimate or situated authentic nature. And I also think those kinds of environments provide us with a different sense of issues of identity and embodiment and what it means to be part of an online community. And we have to really look at, in more nuanced ways, what is really going on in online environments. And I think part of the problem with some of the classroom research is that it's either, oh wow, this is amazing, or I hate it. And what we need is something, in the middle. So, and I think it's very easy for all that stuff to get part of the hype of being, everything becomes kind of commercial and therefore important. But we need instead to do really careful research. And there's a really good writer out there called Neil Selwyn, who's a British sociologist who has written about the problems with technology-based research. And he calls for the field to really do much more of this kind of deep analysis of what we're actually doing in classrooms. And in fact, he has a book called Distrusting Educational Technology, which is an interesting read, actually. And and he's just questioning that sort of uniformly positive rhetoric that is kind of put out there around educational technology. Now, and if learning is really situated, then the online context isn't really a totally new space. It's just a different kind of space. And we don't know how different it is because we haven't really looked at it and described in detail what happens in that environment. And, are people, is it reducing dropout rates, for instance? But these are kind of apolitical questions, but I think for people like Selwyn and other people we're going to see later on in the course in the critical theories part, there isn't anything that's apolitical. That we make choices, and we make choices in education. We make choices about what questions we ask and what we focus on, and we have to kind of be reflective and reflexive in our thinking, because it's like the fish in water. We use it all the time, we use it every day, and we stop looking at it, we stop being conscious of it. And that's actually one of the one of the effects of learning being situated, is that we don't sometimes question that. So I think in a way that thinking about situated learning allows us to sort of draw back and look at what is being learned, how it's being learned, and what role does technology play in this. So, I mean, it's like the same kind of critique that we would apply to all of our teaching approaches, right? We have to interrogate it, whatever we do in terms of teaching, in multiple ways, and we have to go on looking at it and really looking at to see whether it's effectively helping us learn. Now, in this current week, we're going to go on with situated learning, but in a slightly different way, and looking particularly at these ones. So the Hung and Chen article, which brings together situated learning and Vygotskian thought and communities of practice, which is kind of cool. So these are all the things we've been looking at separately, and they're kind of talking about that together and its implications for design. And Carburetor's critique of situated learning, because situated learning as a theory poses challenges for how we understand all sorts of things. The problem of transfer, of growth in learning. It challenges current, the ways that we've been thinking about learning for a long time, and there are ongoing issues, and in a sense they're philosophical, but just because something's philosophical, it doesn't mean that it's not important. It may not be the thing that you can apply directly in your classroom, but I think understanding the nuance of these kinds of arguments is important to having a good frame for being able to, to think and rethink educational challenges as they appear. I think we need to understand this in some kind of depth. So see what you think about the readings this week. And I am sorry about the marks. I am trying to do the first assignment, and I've had terrible problems with the audio function, so I've given that up, and I'm going to do it with text, and I'm just sorry it's taking this long, but most of you are doing fine, just so you know, and you've done nice intro, part ones of your theories of learning and technology and teaching. So, don't worry about it. If you're not, I think, it's not usually a surprise to people. The people who are participating in both reading and contributing are doing well. And if you're not doing a lot of that, then to the extent you're not doing that, then you're probably not doing as well. So that's, a very because really this course is about participation, because that's the learning mode as we've been talking about. But I will get you more detailed stuff on that very soon, and I hope you have a great week. Enjoy the nice weather. I think we've got another week of something that feels like decent weather. And I will talk to you online. Okay, take care.